I will call this meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. The first item of business tonight is to elect a chairperson. I'll open the floor up for some nominations for somebody to chair tonight's proceedings.
I nominate the chairman of the board, Greg Frenchman.
Everybody's okay with that?
I'm in favor.
Second.
Todd, you want to do it?
No, I don't.
You can second it, don't
Do we second that?
I'll second it, sure.
All right, then I'll go ahead and do it. And then the first item of business then is the approval of the 2018 annual meeting minutes.
You were the only one. You were the only one here, so do you approve these minutes?
Mr. Dean, you were mentioned
I'd like to
17 times.
question the repetitive nature of Mr. D in these minutes, but I'd like to move approval of these minutes.
Do I hear a
Last
second?
annual meetings.
I guess, are you?
I don't know if I'm
You can
allowed to,
second.
but second.
You
Been
can
properly moved and seconded to approve the 2018 annual meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The next item of business is the approval of the budget and tax levy.
Okay, I'll go through it. Very similar to the preliminary budget that we went through earlier. But I'll go through it, so I changed it to blue instead of red for you, so it's not as scary that right now. So if we go down the general, just the Fund 10, the revenue, I won't read through every single item, but local 200s, we're at $1,205,853. Interdistrict transfers, which is open enrollment, that's a number that, as you know, fluctuates and is really hard to keep. It's completely a best guess, but that is $356,539. Transitive aid, the 500s, and we're at 3,000. State revenue, so all of the 600s, the total state revenue, we have 5,657,773. Federal revenues, total federal funds. This has gone down a little bit from last year, but we have 117,474. So as you know, and as I'll state later, that majority of our budget comes from state aid. Then you have sale of fixed assets, the 800s. We have 2,500. Other revenues in the 900 category, $10,000. So total Fund 10 revenues, we're at $7,353,139. So when you compare that to the Fund 10 expenditures, on page 8, the next page, kind of go down the regular instruction. We're at $3,558,111. Support services categories. The 200,000 function is $2,854,979. Then interfund transfers, that total 400,000 function is $1,318,700. Leaving total Fund 10 expenditures at $7,731,790. So when compared to the revenue, the expenditures is definitely higher than the revenue. But again, this is based off of best guesses. This is based off of 1% property value, which I just got those numbers back. That went up to 6%, so that's going to change our numbers in the positive. So that'll be a good thing on the revenue side of things. Not necessarily enough to make up that difference, but again, we potentially have a bus budgeted in there, so there's some room, some wiggle room in that. So I decided to leave it as is, even though it's even though it's not a balanced budget like previously, like we've done the last 4 years, since I've been here. But I just wanted to see where the numbers fall, and then when we do the final budget, I'll have that all budgeted out for us. So that's all of Fund 10, which is the majority of our budget. Fund 27 is special education. Total revenues for that is $1 million, so it's the bottom of page 8. Total revenues is Fund 27 is balanced. Total revenues is $1,028,184, and the expenditures reflect the same. So moving on to Fund 38 and 39, this is our debt service and then referendum dollars. So this is everything that's connected to our referendum in 2013, and then the energy efficiency portion that was along with that, which was kind of within the referendum process. So this Fund 38 and 39, I really rely heavily on Baird to do. They've done this since the referendum prior to me, and they continue to do it. So total fund revenues for Fund 38 is at $577,313. So you're looking at the top of page 9. Total Fund 38 expenditures is $574,251. So very close to the expenditures, and revenues are very close to a balanced budget. Fund 39, the total fund revenues is $517,516. And then the total expenditures is $459,423. So fairly close as well, just a little off. Moving on to Fund 46, this has been my, for lack of better terms, my safety net fund that allows us to not be penalized if we underspend from year to year. Then we allow, if you guys remember, you approved this fund, but it can't be spent until when you guys approved it, you can't spend it until 5 years is up. So this money is for the most likely being allocated to our new roof in this building, which is we're in need of a new roof. We're not quite there yet, but we've definitely had quite a bit of leaking and some extreme leaking in certain areas, and we've had a company do some patchwork that has helped, but it hasn't completely fixed the problem. So right now in Fund 46 we have $406,254. So that includes all the interest as well that it's accrued. So we're sitting in a very, very good place. My goal was $500,000 to get that kind of ballpark half of the purchase price of what we best guess of a roof. We've gotten some quote. We've got 1 or 2 quotes from a company, but we haven't explored that. Other than just getting 2 quotes just to see what the ballpark cost would be. So Fund 50 is our food service fund, which, as you know, is always in a very good place. Ms. Kobernick does a really good job down there, and our kids in this district really take advantage of our food service program. So we're always in the positive, or we have historically been in the positive with the food service. So total Fund 50 revenues, $422,900, and the expenditures reflect the same. So that's a balanced budget for that fund. Fund 72 at the bottom of page 10 really is just the scholarship fund. It's we don't do much with it. There's a committee that communicates with Mrs. Karnick on that. So total Fund 72 revenues, $24,000. Total Fund 72 expenditures as $24,000. So that one's a balanced budget as well. Fund 80, which is our community service fund. We have our total revenues $80,000, and then the total expenditures $80,000 as well. So that's a balanced budget within Fund 80. So going to page 12, just to kind of get it from a different perspective, if you look at this is obviously specific to Clear Lake. Our total state revenue, like I said before, is that ballpark $5.6 million. That's 77% of our budget. So over 3/4 of the Clear Lake school budget is comes out of that state revenue. Local revenue is 16% of our budget, which is at 1.2-ish million. Federal revenue is 117,000, which is, I think it's even just a hair less than that 2%, but 2% of our budget. And then other revenues is 372,000, is 5%, leaving a total revenue amount of, like I previously said, is at $7,353,139. And then at the bottom of page 12, the expenditures, you can see the instructional costs is 47% of our expenses. The non-program is 16% of our expenses, and then support services is at 37% of our expenditures. Moving on to page 13, unless anybody has any questions. Okay. So total fund expenditures, when you look at each fund separately, kind of a breakdown from the main funds, Fund 10, which is our general fund. That's the majority of our revenue and the majority of our expenses is at 75% with 7.7 million and a little bit more. Fund 27 is 10% of our budget at a little over $1 million. Fund 38 and 39 combined is about 10%, the $1,033,674. And Fund 50 is about 4%, a little over $422,000. And then Fund 80 is 1% of our budget at the $80,000 mark. So total expenditures is $10,296,548 are the total budget for Clear Lake. And the total revenues at the bottom of page 13, Fund 10, and this really almost reflects the expenditures because our goal is to have a balanced budget, and that's my goal when we have the final budget as well. So you'll see they reflect almost the same. Fund 10 is just a little bit lower at 74%. Fund 27 is the exact same at 10%. Fund 38 and 39 is fairly close at 11%. Fund 50 is exactly the same at 4%, and then Fund 80 is exactly the same as the revenues as to the expenditures is at 1%. So total fund revenues, like I said before, is at $9.9 million. So $9,979,052. So total revenue for 1920. And then on page 14, this is our proposed property tax levy. You can see what we're levying. It's at the top of the page. So for each fund, that's how much we're levying for Fund 10, 39, 38, and 80. And then the right-hand column in the blue is the dollar amount for each fund that we're levying. So total school levy is $2,241,664. And then if you look at the historical tax levies, since 2006, 2007, right now we're the proposed tax levy or mill rate is $10.14 per 100,000. But you'll also see at the bottom of the page, this is based off of the 1% property value increase, which, as I said, was a 6% increase this year. So that will change those numbers. So I do think if we look to a potential referendum in the near future, like we discussed at the previous board meeting, I think we'll be sitting very good with our mill rate and being a good place to keep that mill rate fairly close to what it is if we do go down that road. Any questions?
Josh, do you know if this went to a 6%, what the mill rate would be close to, or just a ballpark, or no?
Say that again?
If the property tax value increased to 6% rather than 1%, what effect would that have on the mill rate?
I don't know what it would be, and there's a couple other variables. It's almost, I don't want to say pointless to because I don't know what it is, but if we did figure it out, like there's 2 or 3 other variables that we have to wait on that our numbers come in October, that it really wouldn't do us a whole lot of good to figure that number out.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what it would be.
Or it's 5 years for that approval for that Fund 46. Is this our 3rd year then?
Yeah, so we're 2 years out
Yeah.
from doing that. And then that money, if you guys remember, that money can only be allocated towards operational things in the district. But there definitely is some, yeah, I think they're pretty loose with that. But in our situation, we have, you know, our two main things are the roof on this building, and then the HVAC system in this building needs to be updated to similar to the elementary building. This has been a constant battle for Mr. Osmond now, and then previously Gary Hansen, trying to keep all of the rooms, you know, set at a certain temperature. I think it's just like chasing squirrels, to be honest. I think it's pretty tough in this building to regulate. Any other questions?
Okay. Seeing there's no other questions, then I'll entertain a motion.
I should make a motion, so you're allowed to make a motion. I so move.
So here's a second.
The second mill rate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the budget and the tax levy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The next item of business is the approval of the school board salaries. Do I hear a motion on the approval of the school board salaries?
Like to move that they remain as they have been, with stipulation that our school board sustain their ongoing personal education as it's been for the past 3 years. And so what their salary has been, now, so before I finish this motion, have other school board salaries increased, stayed steady, or decreased over the past 3 to 5 years, to your knowledge?
I don't know that.
Okay.
I would suggest a performance-based pay.
Sure.
I think
Whoa, hey, where's the reporter when we did it?
in such a case then,
No, but as long as it's within, you know, my personal view of it is that as long as our school board salaries are commensurate to local districts, and even regional beyond that, and maybe a little more, because these people deserve the recognition they get. I would move that they remain as they have been, with stipulation that they continue with their education with Wisconsin Association of School Boards.
sounds good. Do I hear a second?
It's your turn.
Can I ask a question first?
Go ahead.
What fund does that come from, the salaries for the school board?
Good question.
Comes out of Fund 10.
Okay.
Probably can't second that.
All right, still, I'll entertain a second.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the school board salaries as explained by Mr. Dean. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The next item of business is the consent agenda. And in the past, we've read through the consent agenda and formed one motion. So the consent agenda consists of authorizing the operation of a school lunch program, authorizing the provision for student insurance, authorizing the board to short-term borrow to continue the operation of the district, authorize the board to sell tangible surplus property, authorize reimbursement of school board members for expenses incurred, authorize the board to transport students, and authorize the prosecution of defense of any school litigation. I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'd second that.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes. And the next item of business is the state of the district, where Mr. Ernst will give his superintendent's report.
Okay. So I'd just like to go to page page 19. Just 19, 20. Just wanted to go over some notable accomplishments that we had in the district last year. I think that we are, as a superintendent, but then also as a parent, I feel very blessed to be in the Clear Lake School District. It's such a great district to be a part of, and I feel very, very lucky to have my kids be in the district with me, because they've been able to benefit from the district. But these are just some notable accomplishments that we kind of put together for the past year. So you can look at some of the some of the stuff that we have, advanced placement course offerings. Then I put all of our grant money in there as well. Some stuff to touch on. We had the one-to-one initiative was fully implemented, and we're continuing that this year. We had a Herb Cole winner, initiative scholarship winner, Abby Warner. The Quiz Bowl kids over at the elementary with a 3rd place and a 1st place. We had 7 students this year. This is the 2nd year that we've offered Microsoft certifications. We had 7 kids receive that certification this year. We also offered employability skills offering this year, with the expansion of our tech ed department, and we applied for that Fab Lab grant, didn't get it, but we've continued to improve and move forward with that classroom, so we can have the same type of offerings that districts that have had the Fab Lab grant. Our kids still are able to access that. So that's been neat to see where that's headed with the screen printing and the laser engraver, and some pretty exciting stuff coming out of there. A total this was very I think pretty neat to see from a small community. Clear Lake, I know our district is comprised of multiple municipalities, but just Clear Lake itself has 1,000 in its in the Clear Lake municipality, and in total, on the front cover you can see the different townships that we have, and then the one village. But to think about our class of 2019, and our classes range anywhere from 35 to 50 kind of ballpark. We had $123,800 of scholarships that were given out that night, which is remarkable, and much of that is given from local businesses. So very neat to see the support that we have within our community, and for our Clear Lake graduates. This year, I just wanted to touch on tomorrow, which I'm excited about. My daughter will be a part of it. She's going to be in 7th grade, so it'll be the first time ever we're offering junior high camp day. So I'd like to thank Mr. Gillis and the entire junior high staff, but specifically Mrs. Rubel and Mrs. Kaler for initiating that, and tomorrow we'll be implementing that. I think it'll be a huge I think it'll be a nice day for the kids to alleviate some of that stress that comes with transitioning from the elementary to the senior high. So I'm excited to be a part of that tomorrow. Then lastly, the 2 kind of academic instruction bullets, the Mary Jo Nettesheim regional winners, and then the Mary Jo Nettesheim state winner, Hallie Carlson, and then the regional winners were Haley Zoft, Hallie Carlson, and CJ Ritterpush. Then also athletics. The last couple of years we've been had some very strong athletic programs here in the Clear Lake district. It's been fun. It's always fun to go to those games. It's always fun to be a part of a winning program. But I think most importantly, what you don't see on the paper that you see if you come to the games and are part of that is we just have a good group of kids that really reflect what Clear Lake School District is and what the Clear Lake High School is. Our kids always do a great job representing not only our school but our community. So it's that makes it even that more fun to be a part of. I won't go through and read everything, but we have a lot of sports where we have, conference, kids that were all conference, state qualifiers, state place winners, team championships, and just a lot of fun overall, all 3 seasons. We produced some pretty exciting sporting events for everybody to watch. So our kids do a really nice job. On page 20, we have a couple other items too. We had FFA parliamentary procedures were state runner-ups this year, which I think that's the highest they've ever placed, and which was neat. Mr. Weiss has done an awesome job, has done a fantastic job, coaching that, and continues to be a part of the FFA program here in Clear Lake. Then we had Nicole Katz was the Washington Leadership Conference scholarship winner. We also have, I want to say first time ever, but I'm not positive on this, FCCLA state officers, vice president. Not first time ever, okay. Definitely since I've been here, it's been the first time. Samantha Kelly, so congratulations to her. And then they're still continuing to do it right now with Miss Hunter. Trap and skeet team went to nationals, the national competition, and placed 29th. And then Elizabeth Larson was the Wisconsin All-State mixed choir, was selected for the Wisconsin All-State mixed choir. Some class of 2019. We had, and this is up from last year, 60% of our attending, 60% of the graduating class is attending a 4-year college. 18% are attending a 2-year technical college. 9% decided to enter the workforce, and then 13% decided to join the military. So best of luck to all those kids as they're already moving on. And then retirements in the district, we had 2. Mary Schieffer, elementary teacher for 30 years, and Art Pet, director of transportation for 23 years. So on behalf of the Board of Education and the Clear Lake School District, we'd like to thank those 2 individuals for their years of service. So then just a couple other things I'd like to talk about. As far as district updates, initiatives, or maybe even just focus areas, we continue to, like I already commented on, the full one-to-one initiative is now in full swing, and we are fully implemented the one-to-one in the district, which is exciting. So devices are in kids' hands, which is good to see. As you guys have been a part of this, we've been revising the district board policies, which hopefully next month will come to a close, and then we'll have all brand new policies updated in the district. So that'll be excited to be done with that process as well. It was a great process, and I think we have a lot of good policies that will be in place. Another focus, kind of moving forward. We did a lot of standards work last year, unpacking the standards and identifying essential standards. So there's all the teachers in the district looked at their curriculum, looked at the state standards or national standards in some cases, and unpacked those standards and identified which of the standards were essential for our kids to learn. We're going to continue to move forward with that, and next steps moving forward. I forgot to say we also did vertical alignment, so to guarantee that kids aren't missing something from grade to grade. And now the next step is to continue with that work by looking at the sequence of what's being taught in the district, and then also looking at assessments, making sure the assessments are tied to the standards, having collaboration time within the district so teachers are communicating with one another, and that we're guaranteeing that all of our students are getting the curriculum that we want them to get, so there's no discrepancy from teacher to teacher. So it was a painful process, but it was a good process. I feel like the teachers are seeing the value in it, and have been committed to getting on board and moving forward with it. So that's exciting. We're going to continue with that work. And then we are also looking at the teacher compensation model. That's going to be something that's going to be the beginning in the fall. We're going to start to explore that, go down that road as far as how we want that to look and what improvements we need to make to the compensation model for our teaching staff. So I'm excited for the year. It was a good year. Last year, as you know, was a lot of our initiatives and even just the teaching itself. It was a very difficult year, and a lot of it to do with the weather, the Wisconsin weather, and how that played a role in our programming. And I think it was difficult for staff. It was difficult for kids, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we won't have as many days missed this year. And I'm excited about where we're headed with the different initiatives that we have. And the three of us, the admin team is committed, that we're committed to not doing initiatives to do initiatives, but to stay focused on the initiatives because we believe that they impact kids, not because it looks good for any of us, but because it directly impacts the kids. And that's what we've been communicating to the staff, and that's our focus. So the initiatives that we have haven't changed, and we're going to continue moving down that road. Before I turn it over to Mr. Gillis and Mr. Peterson for their reports, I'd just like to welcome multiple staff to the district. I know that's been board approved, but we have Janine Smetna, special ed at the junior senior high, Adelia Larson, Spanish, Emily Watson, who's here tonight for ag ed, Brianne Link, special education at the junior senior high, Josh Wallace in the second grade position at the elementary, Miranda Doolittle, special education at the elementary, Kristen Wallace, 0.5 FTE at the in music at the elementary, and then two individuals that are not new to the district but have new roles. Therese Anderson is going to be doing, previously she was a second grade teacher, she's going to be doing 4K because our 4K numbers are so large, half the day, and then the other half is going to be a literacy resource instructor. And then Kim Torgerson, who's just going to be here help me out, is it 0.22?
20%.
Yeah, so 20% speech and language pathologist. Because as you guys know, she has chosen to be a stay-at-home mom, but has agreed to come back just one day a week. Then we have a couple positions that are still yet to be filled. So that's all I have.
Well, I can try to make it pretty brief. Covered the new staff at the elementary school already. I also just want to thank, over the summer, support staff's been in, like they always are every summer, custodians and transportation secretaries, IT, food service, getting everything prepared for the return of students here and the staff here and teachers in a couple of days. Let's see, I went over the new staffing changes, so I won't cover that. As far as other things, Mr. Ernst kind of stole my thunder as far as all the stuff that's going on, but
Good job.
Not a lot of new things. Like Mr. Ernst said, it's following through on what we're already working on. It's not a bunch of new things, but a few new things in the elementary school. We're going to have a new resource called Reflex Math, which is just a small thing, but it's just a supplemental math resource to help kids with math fluency. It's basically like electronic flashcards, except it's now with all the cool features of being able to track data and track students and how they're progressing through their, if it's first graders and second graders, they're adding and subtracting, and if it's, third and fourth graders, multiplication and division. So a cool new resource there. Been working on that. Continuing on with our character ed things, no new things, but just continuing to go deeper with that. Work with the staff, had a committee last year. Continuing to grow our one-to-one and getting better at how we use our technology, our iPads and our Chromebooks. Had a great summer school again this year. We're able to add the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders back in. Our numbers were back up again due to that. We qualified for the summer food service grant again, so we did offer free breakfast and lunch to kids, which was a big hit again with the community. Small things too. We added a new feature to our playground over there, a Gaga ball pit. So if your kids come home talking about that, I think that's going to be a cool new addition. Pretty popular. Kids have seen it at Cub Scout camps and church camps and things like that. So,
Which was built by Mr. Peterson and the elementary staff over there.
PTO, I helped. Ben Meyer was the one who was the lead.
It's kind of a cage match, throw a ball in.
Yeah. But echoing what Mr. Ernst said before, as far as being a parent with my kids in the district, Just feel privileged to have my kids in school here, and just to talk about, my experience. My daughter's heading off to college in a couple of days, and to see her be able to be successful, and not just academically, but outside the classroom, and the well-rounded education she got inside and outside the classroom, and she's able to head off to college with be in an honors program and earn a special scholarship from the university, and head off to college with some college credits due to taking AP classes here and college classes here. So again, she's been a student here from kindergarten on. So again, it's a privilege and a pleasure to be a parent in the district too. So I claim that. That's all.
From the junior senior high school side, start off with AP scores. We had 20 students in 18-19 that took AP classes. They took 22 total AP exams in English, Lit, Calculus, and Biology. And of those 22 AP exams, 8 scored a 3 or better, which gets them college credit for those exams for their AP classes. Just echoing off of Mr. Ernst's comments about new hires in the building, all 4 of the new hires have already been in the building getting their classrooms ready and showing their face and picking up materials and asking questions, so it's been pretty exciting to watch them start their career here. Briefly about athletics, homecoming this year is the last week of September. Game will be against Unity on Friday the 27th. Football hosted a scrimmage already this year. That went pretty well with Turtle Lake, Boyceville, Spring Valley, and Grantsburg attending. And then last Friday we had a win already for the football program, so they're off and running. Volleyball's been in the building practicing. I got the privilege this year to participate in captain interviews. So that was interesting for me. I've not been a part of that before. I learned a lot about our senior girls and why they aspire to be captains in the program. That was kind of fun. Cross country is off to its 3rd year start, coached by Mrs. Niles from the elementary school. Numbers are up again this year in that program, so they're doing well. The music department, they again got their accreditation awards for excellence in music from the Wisconsin Music Association. We did have 1 student compete at state in vocal music, Elizabeth Larson. Mr. Ernst mentioned already that Sam Kelly is going to be serving this school year as a state officer for the FCCLA, and part of her role will be she'll be traveling around the state, participating and putting on leadership conferences for other young ladies or gentlemen who are interested in participating in FCCLA. I wanted to put a thank you out there to Mrs. Kaler and Mrs. Rubel for working to plan our 7th grade junior high camp. We're going to try that for this first time. Used to be they came over and visited the building, and then we had kind of a formal meeting with parents, and it was, some of you have been part of it. It wasn't all that fun for the kids. They're putting together some fun activities and opportunities to explore the building. They're going to go through the hot lunch program, type in their number, figure out how all that works. All the typical things for the transition from one building to the other causes the kids anxiety, so they're going to make a day of it, have a good time, and get to know each other and get to know their teachers. Mr. Ernst covered the curriculum work we've been doing in the district already. Our new curricular offerings in this building. Last year I shared that Mr. Crawford was going to start some new classes for the last school year, and I just wanted to share a little bit about the successes that came along with that. One was a class based on the Hamilton musical, and a group of students had the opportunity to go to Chicago and see that live this summer. All of them said it was just a fantastic performance and a good experience to be a part of. And then Mr. Crawford continues to work on that Medal of Honor class. He again took coursework this summer relating to that to further promote and learn about the Medal of Honor and be able to offer more to our kids. Both classes were just very interesting to sit in. When I was doing teacher observations, I had the chance to sit in on a couple of those things, and it was phenomenal. It was really exciting to watch. Buildings and facilities. We're now at 2 project labs in the building. One is down near the Ag and Tech Ed room, and then we still have the one in the middle school wing. They're classrooms that are repurposed, and teachers can sign up for project-based learning activities, and they can set those lab spaces up. So in an 8-period day, rather than tearing down between classes, they can set it up, leave it set up for a few days in there, and reserve that space. Both spaces were used well this past year. Had a lot of different interesting things going on. We had some camera upgrades for security this summer, and I wanted to really thank the custodial and the IT crew in the building, because boy, there's a lot of work in the summertime that goes behind our one-on-one initiatives, maintaining the system, checking over the equipment, making sure it's ready for kids to come back in the fall. And we had stacks of Chromebooks to go through, and we had a young man, Joe Esposeth, in to help pull this summer, did a fantastic job for us. So the building looks great. They tore this room down, pulled it apart, and got it ready for us. So lots of cool things going on in the high school. Thank you.
And I'd just like,
What was this room once upon a time?
The visit classroom, it got moved over 2 rooms.
Okay.
yeah, and I'd like to echo what Mr. Gillis said. This and a couple thank yous, and custodial crew is one of them. This room, I mean, even just this room alone, I feel like we bit off more than we could chew with. I had the idea of let's just turn this room into the boardroom, and it seemed so simple and easy. And then you get into it, and we took out there used to be. It was a computer lab, so there were countertops. Thank you. But then all the wiring and everything. I mean, it was just a nightmare. As far as how much work. It wasn't just let's take everything out and put the boardroom, board stuff in. Then the carpeting had holes in it, and then they had to redo the base. I guess baseboards or whatever it's called, for lack of better terms. So they took it on and didn't complain at all, and just did a really nice job. I think the whole district looks fantastic. Things are really sparkling and ready for the kids and ready for the staff to be here. So a huge thank you to the custodial staff. But then also, I know this is some of these notes are for in service, but I feel like I'd like to say some of these thank yous just here tonight, just because I feel like there's so many people that are involved that get that prepare the district to be ready for the students, and that's really our main focus are the kids. So, the district office staff, Ms. Karnick and Ms. Norby both, I feel like the office, you would think would slow down, but I feel like it picks up in the summer just because of all the budgeting and stuff, and especially, Ms. Karnick with the budgeting stuff, she does a fantastic job as our bookkeeper and helps me out a ton with all of these numbers and making sure, everything's accurate. And so huge thank you to her and Ms. Norby for getting everything ready for the audit. That's a huge undertaking each year. So without those two, I mean, I'd be a sunken ship. I know that. So that just out of that office alone does a tremendous job for the district. The administrative offices, both offices, Ms. Labrie, Ms. Seiler, Mrs. Robo, Mrs. Johnson, I mean, getting everything ready from kids' schedules to, taking parent phone calls of transfers to getting the bus stuff ready. Mrs. Johnson getting all the routes ready for the buses and doing all that. It just doesn't just happen. They do really we have a great staff in both buildings preparing all that stuff. Both Mr. Gillis and Mr. Peterson for all their work getting things ready throughout the entire summer. And the food service staff, with summer school this year, but then also getting in-service stuff, food ready for everyone. Like I said, the custodial staff, the guidance, both our guidance counselors come in and get stuff ready. At the high school, Ms. Kaler's in here quite a bit, just because of the nature of the high school schedules. But then also this year with the junior high camp, transportation, like I said, we had a couple, one retirement and then one left. So Ms. Johnson has taken on a ton over there, and she does every year, gets everything ready and prepared, and does a fantastic job, and all the drivers do as well. Our technology staff, Mr. B. Osmonrud, Bo Osmonrud, because we have more than one, Ms. Meyer and Mr. Crawford, but really, and then Joe Esposeth this summer. Getting everything ready to go, and we switched over printers, switched our printer contract as well, so that was a whole nother thing added to Mr. Osmonrud's plate, getting that ready for the fall. And then our summer school staff, like Mr. Peterson said, we had a huge summer school offering again this year, and a great summer school offering. Our kids are really lucky to be a part of the summer school, and it was very well attended, and the staff did a great job. And then also the teaching staff, they don't just come come in and, during their 188-day contract. I mean, they're here late hours. They're here before the school year, getting stuff ready, making sure their rooms are clean, and they're, especially at the elementary, the tag boards are pretty, and at the high school, making sure that their rooms are ready to go. And then last, I'd like to thank the board. I feel like I can't even express how much I appreciate how good of a job you guys are doing as a school board. I feel like our admin meetings are truly admin meetings, and our focus is about the kids. They're not about board meetings. They're not about issues. They are truly 100% focused on running a district and making this the best district that we possibly can for our students. So I appreciate that, especially in a small community. You guys field a ton of calls, I'm sure, and a ton of comments, and I appreciate your trust in us, and I appreciate your willingness to allow us to run the district. So it's really a team approach, and we wouldn't be able to do that without the support of you guys. So thank you, and that's something that I have expressed last year to the teaching staff and support staff, and I will again this year, because I truly mean it. I'm not just saying it because it's probably the right thing to say in my role, but I mean it. I really do, and I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. I feel like we are able to focus on students, which is the whole point of why we're all here. So thank you. All right, I've talked enough. That's all I have.
Well, if you're going to hand it back to me, Josh, if I could interject too, I want to, 'tis the season to thank many people. 91% of our students from the 2019 class were inspired to continue their education, and that says a lot for all the work that you guys have done and all the work that's been done in the past by other people. The ingredients are all coming together, and my prayer is and my hope is that this ship just continues to sail, and we can enjoy knowing some of the stats coming out of this calm pond. So that being said, our next item of business is discussion of future annual meeting dates.
It has fallen upon the final Monday of every August, as I recall. Second board meeting of each August, is that correct?
Fourth Monday of every August.
Yeah,
Yep.
fourth Monday. So I'd make a motion that it remain as such. Seems to work. Works for me.
Does anybody need to check?
August 24th.
Anybody need to check their calendars?
Well, I'm doing tomorrow.
If I may, that was a motion. I don't know if you need to close that up, but
Do go ahead.
well, and if I may, I just want to commend the board for their maturity, their significant effort toward the future, our administration, which rocks. And most of all, I think it's important to recognize that for the first time in Clear Lake's history, we have a doctor at the helm. And so a recommendation of honor to our good doctor amongst us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, here.
So thank you all.
I will accept that as a motion. Do I
Yes,
hear a
it is.
second?
Yep.
Been properly moved and seconded to continue our tradition of the fourth Monday in August as our annual meeting date. And same time, I assume. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Now it's time to entertain a motion of adjournment.
You get
I move to adjourn.
Nice.
But we were having so much fun.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
So been properly moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned.